What equipment do you need for live streaming? Well, you know what? I've done this for a little while and I've got a basket here of everything I use. So there's a number of different things here. If you're live streaming on your mobile phone, then you're looking at something like a, you can't see that, can you? Can you? Let me give you another view of this. Okay, so that would be something that you would want. If I can show you in the camera. Type C to HDV cable. That actually works. It does work. I made a video about it. I struggled a lot with it. I wasn't able to make it work, but it did work in the end. That allows you to record your mobile phone, have your mobile phone as a recording device, and use a HDMI capture card. So if you're live streaming with the phone, that's something handy to have. And I done a video about that. If you're live streaming with the action camera, is that too dark? I need to find that. There's multiple cameras. It's hard to show you stuff. But yeah, if you're streaming with action camera, you want micro USB cables. I've got plenty of these marked in a bag. You basically has a USB on one side and a micro USB on the other side. You plug it into your camera. This one has a flap because it's a fancy Apeman A100 camera. You plug it into there, you plug it into your computer, and then it becomes a webcam. Actually, this one, does it? Yeah, I think this one does. Okay, I did a video about Apeman cameras. I remember one of them only worked via HDMI cable. So that could be the A100. Anyway, what else do we have here? The HDMI route would be the HDMI cables. So HDMI cable into a HDMI capture card, like the cheap one I've done a video on. You plug it into your computer, it becomes a HDMI card. But that's getting a bit too fancy. How about if you want to keep it simple? We want to live stream. What do you need? Well, I'll give you a list of things. If you have a live stream you're looking to do like what I'm doing now, you want one camera, you want a microphone, you want some way to be able to speak to your audience and record your what you're doing. You can either record it separately, so your video is recorded separately, your audio is recorded separately. You go into a fancy editing software and then you edit it all together. That's option one. That is time consuming. You don't want to be doing with that. That's long winded. What you want to do is get a camera that you can record and audio and record them at the same time, which makes a file that you can upload to YouTube. So right now what I'm doing is recording in one take. And if I show you an example camera, that is a Canon 5D Mark II. And this is a microphone. I did a test about a separate microphone, which was the Samsung QU2, which is a USB microphone. You can plug that into your computer. Perfectly good. Very good audio. I have a separate setup. I've got a mixing board that's going down a longer route, but it makes it, hopefully it sounds nicer. It sounds a bit more deep and a bit more radio voice because it has better preamps. That's basically good amps that reduce background noise. That's all it is. So the question, what equipment do you need to live stream? You want either everything that makes your live stream sound good and look good, and lighting, which I didn't even mention, or you want something that lets you put your foot in and you can get a camera first, make some videos and see, oh, wait a minute, you know what, my camera's okay. Let's use this as an example. If I've got an Apeman action camera, I can use that as a webcam. See how it performs for you. If it does well, then you know you've got your video sorted. So option one is getting your video sorted. Once your video sorted, then look at audio. I would say in that order: video, as in how well it shows, and you can have different cameras. You can have one where it's a DSLR, or you can have it as a camcorder. I've done a couple of videos explaining my setup, so hopefully that you find useful. And then you do your audio. If your audio is good, people will be willing to listen to what you're saying and be able to get the point across if you're talking about products or you're doing some type of audio work. And then that audio, that video is a big part of getting you good views from people if they're interested in what you're sharing, basically. Then look at lighting before upgrading your camera. So say, for example, I had this cheap action camera here. Let's get a better screen. And I wasn't using a DSLR. This action camera won't perform great in low light. So instead of use an action camera, use a mic, first option. Instead of changing your camera and buying a new camera, buy some lights. You'll be surprised how well an action camera will do with good lights, which saves you a couple of £100 on a DSLR. Because your lighting improvement will make your action camera look comparable to a decent DSLR. If you want background blur, then you're going to have to get something which allows you manual changing of aperture and background blur, like the f-stop, which is when you're coming to DSLRs. But that can be down the line. You can make a couple of 100 videos with that standard setup and see if you're still interested in it, because a lot of people in this new year are going to be starting making videos. You want to make them so that you can do it long term. Don't just do it for a month, because I'm sure what you want to share, everybody wants to hear from you. So get yourself on the journey, get a camera, get a mic, as cheap as possible, to be honest, if that's your budget, because if you don't end up going with it long term, you don't have lots of money in there, even though you could sell it back on eBay and get your money back. So you're not losing out entirely if you're buying decent gear. That's something to think about. I'll link you to a playlist which will actually give you more information about setting up your first live stream, and I'll go into the proper settings of putting the cables in and stuff. I'll see you on that video.